All across the world, COVID-19 has cost people their jobs, lifestyles, and even their family members. This pandemic is completely unprecedented, and with it has come so many consequences. One of the leading being that the numbers of those affected by food insecurity are skyrocketing. The issue of food insecurity is relevant because it is so prevalent in our country. In fact, in 2018, 1 in 9 Americans were food insecure, equating to over 37 million Americans. And this was said in an article for the U.S. Department of Agriculture on September of 2019. This pandemic has worsened the situations of those already struggling to make ends meet. Ultimately, we need to continually provide government and community assistance to those affected by food insecurity. The reality is that COVID-19 has severely increased rates of food security in America, leaving people to struggle to figure out how they're going to feed their families. We need to continue our assistance of families in need with stimulus checks and federal assistance in the form of food stamps, pantries, drives, and donations. We cannot just stop now that the pandemic might be ending soon. This issue is going to be a long, arduous fight, but it is possible for us to help so many people. I want to begin with assessing the main points of the issue. The pandemic has negatively affected the rates of food insecurity in the U.S., meaning that families are not receiving enough money to pay for food because they have either lost their jobs, homes, or livelihoods due to the circumstances out of their control. To further explain this, I have an article posted by the Providence Hospital on June 14th, 2020, that states that food insecurity undermines the physical and mental health of everyone it affects. It amplifies the health disparities and economic differences for people who are already among our most vulnerable. It is highly imperative that we do not rush the recovery of our nation and cut off federal assistance too soon. We need to make sure actions are being set in place to allow all families and those in need to receive help during these unprecedented times. A news release on May 6th, 2020, for the Chicago Tribune states that if we do not take action, the emergency help will end before the economy recovers, and it will mostly bypass the neediest families, few of whom qualify for jobless benefits. Now I will assess the causes of food insecurity. The causes of food insecurity have expanded to more than just the usual culprits. The pandemic has ushered in new problems in areas we have not had to worry about in the pre-COVID-19 world. Actually, as explained by the Center for Science in the Public Interest on November 18, 2018, the causes lie with food supply chain disruptions, shortened store shopping hours, and limitations on getting food from restaurants and school cafeterias. Families in the United States are struggling with food insecurity, have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. It is also important for us to understand that food insecurity is affecting Black and other minority communities in larger proportions than those of white communities. The already widening existing gap of disparity between these communities is very evident. In an article for the Atlantic Journal posted on July 20th, 2020, they focus on this gap, saying, while food insecurity has gone up across the board during this pandemic, experts say the well-documented racial wage gap between what minorities and white workers earn and other systemic inequities have worsened food access issues. Now I will move on to the most important part of my speech, the solution to the problem. An article for the NYC Food Policy Center released on December 14th, 2020, describes how an individual can show support for those experiencing food insecurity by volunteering at local food pantries, donating food, rescuing extra produce from grocery stores, and donating money to food distribution organizations. And you can also write to policymakers. On a government level, our society can help by pushing forward better programs to help the public recover from the financial hardships caused by the pandemic. To increase food security, economic security, and economic stimulus, Congress should increase the generosity of food security programs immediately and ensure the benefit levels stay elevated, consistent with economic data. And this was said by Lauren Bauer for the Brookings Institution on May 6, 2020. In conclusion, our work in healing our nation from this pandemic is far from over. Even though I know the public is ready to move past all the pain it has caused, we cannot ignore the fact that the pain has not ended for everyone across our country. I share this opinion stated by the publication of the American Public Health Association on November 12, 2020, that states, "Clearly, the steps taken to date have not been enough to ensure low-income and out-of-work Americans do not go hungry. We are not doing enough in terms of federal and government assistance to fight this issue of food insecurity, which has increased exponentially because of this pandemic. We need to make sure there are stimulus checks, extra money allocated towards families with children and unemployment, and food distribution programs stay running in all areas that are in need for as long as possible, regardless of the state of the pandemic." Thank you.